Continuing the Viking Portable Library World Bible, edited by Robert O. Ballou. The Jew and the Christian. Trying to live the form, trying to live the spirit. Selections from the Old Testament. Selections from Judeo-Christian Scriptures, the Old Testament, from the book of Deuteronomy. Debrium, is that the name of Deuteronomy? For a sign upon thine hand. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Alhi Achid. Is that how it goes? There's variation to the saying, so I'm not sure. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah is the more modern way to say it. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine head, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them up upon the post of thy house, and on thy gates. The law of release. But before I get into that, think of that. The various conscious centers, because, you got the centers on your head and the centers of your body, and the various expressions, your hand, your gate, the doorpost of your house. These people are reminding people, these people are monotheists. Not Christians or something else. These people are monotheists. At the end of every 7 years thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it, and he shall not exact it of his neighbor, or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. So, forget the fact that usury is condemned, or, charging interest and all that. And, half the churches would just, completely ignore this thing in the Bible and don't want anything to do with it. Of a foreigner thou mayst exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release. Say when there shall be no poor among you. Okay, so there's a break with others, other faith groups, I guess. That, okay, you don't have to pay, for 1 year out of 7, Say when there shall be no poor among you, for the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all these commandments which I command thee this day. So, conditional upon particular land that, the Jews lost. And their ancestors ended up accepting other faiths for the most part. Well, the Israelites. Anyways, the Jews weren't around at this point. For the Lord thy God blesseth thee as he promised, thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee. And, if that sort of command carries on, that, well, things change. They wanted the materialism of other nations, and therefore divided, and ended up being ruled by other lands. Some won't know exactly what I'm talking about. Trial and punishment. If there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman, that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then thou shalt bring forth that man or that woman, which have committed that wicked thing, out of thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shalt stone him with stones till they die. And Christians have extended this to not include Holy Ghost, Jesus, and then later things like Mary and various saints and angels. I have not commanded it. Well, things that not even Christian have part of the Bible, but there's got to be a better way to deal with people of other faith other than this. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you. It's not just a judge and a couple things. This is, justice involves the whole community. The coming of a prophet foretold. And the Lord said, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass, that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, other so-called gods, things that people call gods, even that prophet shall die. So my 5-prophet theory of after you got the confirming prophet, you also had the sectarian and the devil and the prophet of devils. I mean, really spiritually gifted people. We're talking the English word. Then on the other side you have Rasulullah and Nabiyullah, but in the middle you have, I don't know what you call it, but the confirmatory prophet that confirms the truth of the actual revelations and stuff. And if thou shalt say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord hath not spoken? When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken. But the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him. Yeah, no prophet that God knows better who to call than we do. The law of false witness. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the man between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priest and the judges, which shall be in those days, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be a false witness, and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him, as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Of sanctuary. And thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in any one of thy gates, where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him. The law of divorce. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. Can't she just clean up? Or if there's a shortage of water, can he just wait? I'm sure he's dirty too. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which he took her to be his wife, the former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for inheritance. No, you don't send women off and then, I want them back, and, you be very careful with that. But you sometimes realize there's some character problems, and, if they have the problems, don't bring them back again. Oh, I'll change. Well, have you changed yet? Have you changed yet? With anybody who says they've turned their life around, the question should always be, have you changed yet? Not, I'm going to change in the future. Of master and servant, thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren, or of thy strangers that are in thy land, within thy gates. At this day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee. Of individual responsibility. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. The duty of an husband's brother. If brethren dwell together, and if one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger, and her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name shall not be put out of Israel. And Islam, for example, forbids the in both respects. You don't marry someone's it forbids the women being inherited thing. You can't force marry a woman, and women are just not something to inherit. And not marrying your father's wives. Well, they weren't my mother, and all sorts of stuff is and certainly onanism. The guy kind of I don't want to be doing this, and it wasn't that he was using her or something. He kind of, you will have sex with your dead brother's widow. It's like, some people be like, yeah. Other people like, I don't want to. But you had to. You had to be the new husband. The cursed of Israel. Cursed be the man that maketh any graven or moulded image, an abomination unto the Lord, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and putteth it in a secret place. Like the person who put a little alien statue inside the big room in the 8 caves. That we found it, once we got in there, we shined our lights about, and we apparently shined our lights on it enough that when we turned the lights off again, that we saw the thing. And it would have been, when we moved our lights to the side, but that would have been quite the thing where we're doing. I'm leading the meditation in the cave, and hear this idol's showing him. It's like, you see that, dude? It's like, well, actually, no. We wait till it's end, till we're like going about and Cursed be he that setteth light by his father or his mother. Cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark. Cursed be he. Is Zion the word for landmark in this passage? Cursed be he that maketh the blind to wander out of the way. Cursed be he that perverteth the judgment of the stranger, fatherless and widow. Cursed be he that lieth with his father's wife, because he uncovereth his father's skirt. Cursed be he that lieth with any manner of beast. Cursed be he that lieth with his sister, the daughter of his father, or the daughter of his mother. Cursed be he that lieth with his mother-in-law. Cursed be he that smiteth his neighbor secretly. Cursed be he that taketh reward to slay an innocent person. Cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to do them. Well, very easy to throw something in and then cause problems, but woe to the person. I'm going to write something in. I want my own agenda. The actual law of the time. You should... The blessed of Israel. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shalt be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of the ground, and the fruit of thy cattle. The offspring of the cattle. There's not fruit of cattle. And the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail of the serpent, maybe. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God. Yahweh Alhieh, Anna, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. The death of Moses, thus proving the 5 books were not the books of Moses, and not what Torah, what Torah and whatnot means when you look at what the Quran has to say. They are talking about the original revelations to Moses, and the book being, what was revealed to the other prophets, not necessarily what the, Jewish scribes wrote. But yeah, Moses talking about his own death, right? He can prophesy, but that last line is something else if you actually think that Moses wrote it. And the Lord spake unto Moses that self-same day, saying, Get thee up into this mountain, Abarim, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, which is over against Jericho, and behold the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for a possession, and die in the mount whither thou goest up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people, because he trespassed against me among the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because he sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Israel. Thou shalt not see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I give the children of Israel. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab, out of the mountains of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the lands of Gilead, unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the lands of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the lands of Judah, unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plains of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. The, a lot of this stuff was never written until, or at least we don't think it was ever written until, the kingdom of Israel was a historical entity. So, and the Lord said unto him, This is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine eye, but thou shalt not go over thither. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord, and he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day. And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended. And Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom. For Moses had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as the Lord commanded Moses. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, and all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh, to all his servants, and to all his land, and in all that mighty hand, and in all the great terror which Moses shewed in the sight of all Israel. So the Israelites were considered were considered but see, the person to arise, someone that's going to arise like Moses, but if you compare the list, what the Bible has to say about Jesus doesn't fulfill as many things as the person that's going to rise like Moses. But someone later fulfilled more.